Hang on, let me read
In
you.
these hollowed halls,
That's
there
right.
are one who will someday be the greatest heroes of all time.
You're one of the few people who don't fast forward through that.
I I like when it gets a different voice for a different change.
You guys good to go?
Whenever
We're not recording already? I thought we were already in the show.
I may
No,
be
we're-
late there, Jim. I may be late.
That's fine. We're good. All right. So let's see. We'll do it by the sign on order. So I'll go first, and then Eric, and then Jim and Gail, and then not Jeff. Just don't say "and I'm mental." That's all we need. Okay. Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for this episode, and we're reviewing a race. Who else is racing? Sounds good.
Eric Kritzler. I raced, therefore
Did.
past tense raced.
This is Jim Wakeman, and I was also one of the racers.
That's right.
And Gail Debate. I was crew.
You were classified. I'm sorry.
That's
We're not allowed to say what you did.
It's a need to know basis. Thank
That's
you.
right. That's right.
I have top secret clearance.
As do I.
I'm not even going to talk about what I have, and that's because it's not something we're talking about.
I was doing a line from the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're all talking about your actual clearance.
We'll
and
cut
I'm
this
just
part.
trying to be in. Okay,
Jeff,
No,
you're
no,
over the
kidding.
you're over the top.
Over the top. Yes, I am Jeff, and I am over the top. Gun, El Jefe.
El Jefe. Yes, indeed. Well, everyone, we had a rather fantastic weekend, in my opinion. It probably got better towards the end because I left early, but that's okay. How did you guys? How'd your weekend go? Let's start with Jim and Gail.
Yeah. My weekend was very good. I was fortunate enough to drive early.
That helped this weekend. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, I got to deal. Well, I had to deal with the chaos and the wet on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was the only one that got to drive on Sunday.
Yeah. It was a little chilly Friday when you guys first arrived, but you hadn't been to the track in a little bit, Jim. How was it to be back?
It felt good.
Good.
I mean, it felt good to be driving again.
Awesome.
Because I had been back to the track with, my other racing things.
Other hobbies.
Yes.
My other racing hobby, yes.
He's just way too diversified for us. But luckily, Gail, how was your first foray into the wonderful world of lemons?
Well, my impression was that it was like a Halloween party where a race broke out, and it was really cool. I had a lot of fun, despite the awful weather on Friday and and everything. It was really a lot of fun.
Did we prove that we were worse than expected, or were you like, oh, okay, so it's more like a race than I thought?
It was a little of both. I mean,
Okay.
it really, because there is definitely the racing element, there is semi-serious racing going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's all that craziness that goes on as well. And it was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
I was just checking my email. There are no notes for this. We're just going blind.
I've got notes if you want them.
No, it's fine.
I can wait.
I was literally reading my email going, are there show notes? Are there show notes? I'm not used to this flying hip-free and fancy lists.
It's not a problem. So Jefe, you not only being the namesake for the truck, you hadn't been racing with us for a little bit. So how was it to get back?
It was great to be back. I had a good weekend. I raced on some absolutely trashed tires in 2 different race cars. But I like it when it's slippery. So since we couldn't have rain, at least I could have tires that were ready to explode at any second.
That's awesome. It was great to see both of you back. And Eric, one of our goals for the weekend was to make sure that you had conquered your issues with getting sick in the car. How'd we
Yeah,
do?
so let's talk. I mean, we have a lot to talk about, but one of my major important aspects of this race was to see whether I can now go full stints or whatever without being sick. And let me tell you, that was an arousing success. Not only
Rousing, not
rousing,
rousing. All rousing? You
Just
said arousing.
He did say arousing, which
well,
is word.
when I looked at you, Jeff, I had to say the right word.
Yes.
Anyway, the arousing success in the manner of not only was I able to do that, but I did not realize how calm and unsweaty and all the things I can do on a long-term driving basis, keeping my heart rate down when I don't get sick, and how I can exit the car actually ready to go back in another one when I'm not sick. It was fan freaking tastic. That's all I can say. Fan freaking tastic. But now there were other aspects of the weekend that were amazing too. We'll get to those in a bit.
So just a little background. You had raced for quite a long period of time. And then a couple seasons back, you started getting like sick in the race cars.
Yeah, it never really was something I could kick. I've been doing it for about 8 years, and this is the first time I ever felt this way. Now I had done other racing, shorter stint racing, more
Yeah,
sprint
you've done some
racing.
sprint stuff, right?
Yeah, and I never had that problem, of course, but that's because you're in it for literally 3 laps or so. And you're done, and then you're done. But this time, your endurance racing, this is it, man. I am so friggin' happy. Yes, Jeff?
I was just gonna say that I'm sure 99% of your listeners, Bill, have been in an endurance race, or I don't know, or are related to you. So I'll say that
Or related to somebody that's done an
That's right.
endurance race.
Yeah, true. The punishment of an endurance race is it's unconnected to anything else that has ever happened. The
But
amount
Jeff,
of
you're
things
just
that will go
driving.
wrong.
You're
No, the
just
amount of
driving, Jeff.
things. I'm even talking about like abuse on the car, abuse on
sure.
the tires, like the things that break on a car in an endurance race, or the things that break in a person during an endurance race are unfathomable. Everybody's like, "Oh, hey, I drove to Pittsburgh once. That was 5 hours, and you say you only do 2 hours in the car? Ah, that's easy." Those people have no idea what they're talking about, and just my hat's off to you, Eric, because I have fought other things in cars. I don't think I've ever really gotten queasy, but I've been crampy, leg cramps, and especially back in the days when we were racing S10s, because I don't think we had the containment seats and things like that. So you were using different parts of your body to stay stable, and the isometric exercise of trying to keep your flat ass in a flat seat while on a track that is not flat. And I've gotten the vapors, just not really like sick. I've gotten like real sweaty and
Yeah.
real tired, and the abuse in your body is hard. And when you're in the car and you're alone and you're fighting something, you can spiral quickly. So
Yeah. I mean, I could go into details about how much I would fight this stuff, but it really doesn't. It was so horrible. And then I'm feeling like I'm letting down the team. And then you get into the whole thing of, there's layers of why it sucks. But I'm so happy that I've gotten to this point where now I can do it. I got to get faster. Yeah. I mean, I'm a safe driver, maybe too safe, but my jobs generally in this have been to bring the car back safely, not win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So
well,
I
in order
remember
to win, you have to bring the car back safely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
success, right? Yeah, you're right.
So I remember, I think it was my fourth race or something, and I got like a major leg cramp driving, and I came off the track at Thompson. I actually got one of my few black flags for going too fast in the paddock because nobody knew I was coming in, and then I got out, and you guys are all making fun of me, like, you got out because of a leg cramp, and I'm like, well, I wanted to be safe and didn't want to have any problems with somebody else, and Jeff's like, you just rub it out and do what you got to do, and I'm like, oh, okay. I can do that next time.
Yeah, it's hard. And the endurance, again, we're talking about endurance racing. The endurance racing philosophy is keep turning laps.
Mhm.
And even if you need to take a lap off and center yourself, or follow that car for instead of trying to pass right now,
Mhm.
that's better than coming in. That's
Yeah.
why we always say again and again, a black flag will, be way worse than not passing that guy on this turn.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, Jeff, you remember the first race we ever did. I mean, our stints were 45 minutes. And
Well, the car was breaking that quickly, so
well, the car was very miserable. at that
we were
point.
really sure the car was not going to last.
But
Okay,
still,
so-
my first stint ever in a race car, after 45 minutes, I was drenched.
Done, yeah.
I was wiped out. I could barely walk getting out of the car. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that
part of
car
it
did-
is
was
part of
trying
it
to
is your
kill me.
first race suit is usually made of quilts, so that doesn't help
It's true.
either.
It's true.
So
It doesn't help that our first race car was a 69 Wartburg. What year was
58.
it? 58 Wartburg. So
does it really matter what year it is when it's followed by the word Wartburg?
Wartburg.
no, Wartburg. I have been told by my
Vart.
Eastern European
No, you're right.
friends that
It'd be
it's
Wartburg. You're right.
Wartburg. Yeah.
That's fine.
Bill, I like the haircut. I don't want to like totally turn the podcast left, but
It's a little shorter than last you saw me.
yeah, it is.
It's a little darker too.
Shall we talk about the theme? Did that?
We
get covered
should
in
talk
our
about
last-
the
Not yet, but it's time. That was my second goal of the year, was to win Halloween Meets Gasoline.
Mission
And
accomplished.
thank you
Success.
all. Thank you all very much for making that happen with me. It was a journey and I loved it, every bit of it.
Yeah, and I
so-
think the rubber chicken definitely clinched the deal.
So big props to Bill with the suggestion of do the funeral, because I think you're right. I think, Gail, that is what clinched the deal, doing the funeral for the car. And you're right. The rubber chicken taps. Is there anything more lemony than that?
We've gotten 5 different people right in saying, who plays taps on a chicken? So
Yeah, well, you got to do with what you have. And I saw it
Exactly.
sitting there. So let me just that morning, Sunday morning, somebody, I don't know who, had zip tied that chicken to the clutch pedal of the Mazda 3.
Mhm.
So when I get in to do my first stint in the Mazda 3, you put your foot on the clutch. Ah! Exactly.
just
Thank
like
you.
that.
That's
Just like that.
exactly right. And so that was hilarious just to start off. And then, of course, when you gave me that idea, I thought of a few ideas, which was, the sheet, the colors,
Mhm.
and then the taps. And I said, what am I going to do with taps? And the answer is use the chicken.
Here's the
Exactly.
chicken, yeah. Bill, have you posted that on the Instagram?
Yes,
for
that is the
everyone races? Okay.
gram was quite
Everyone,
quite-
please
quite
go
well
to the
done.
Instagram and watch Eric playing taps on a rubber chicken. It's hilarious.
you will
I
see.
actually showed it to the bugler in my Boy Scout troop. She is like she's learning the bugle and
Yeah.
she's getting better every time. But at any point during the song, it can start sounding a little bit like that chicken. So I said, "Oh, one of my friends who's like a real musician, he played taps the other day. I want to show it to you." And I started showing it. And she started laughing. She was like, "That's pretty funny."
So-
The best part is that the best part is you knew what it was doing, even though it was on a chicken.
we've lost Jeff to the chicken.
Mine's a bit bigger than yours.
Apparently.
If
Parent-
that's
but-
what you need to make yourself feel good about yourself, you get a
That's
bigger
right.
chicken,
Okay,
Jeff.
I'll put the chicken down. I won't play with it.
So the generic theme was entitled Over the Top Gear, and the correct answer
Over
was
the Top Gun.
Over the Top Gun. Sorry, racing.
Over the Top Gear might be fun too.
We could do that too. But the correct answer to the question, should we, was yes. You didn't have to go any further. If we thought of it, we did it, and served us well.
And that's really how you win Halloween Meets Gasoline. For those of you out there who are come to the podcast for any advice, I don't know why you would do that, but if you came to this podcast for advice, the advice is if you want to win Halloween Meets Gasoline, you need to live the theme all weekend long in many facets, not just do one thing over and over and over again, because that really gets tired, especially if it's Space Pants.
I was going to say, especially Space Pants, but
Especially
Yeah,
when it's 5 or 6 races in.
You need to constantly reinvent the theme again and again and again and bring in different facets. And it doesn't need to be exact. It's actually almost a little better if it's twisted to the vehicle.
Yes. I think that the one of the elements of theming is that it has to be funny, it has to be entertaining, but it has to get right on the edge of annoying and stay there. Right. And I think we did that great for the judges. Now, I
Yes.
admit I'm an enabler on the judges. Like every time we were going to do something, I came in, I told them, would it be all right if we do this? Because I need to ask you a question that you have to answer the opposite answer to than you would normally, So I pre-cleared everything we did with them. So to make sure that we weren't going to get in their way, which I think is also good. And I recommend that.
yeah, I thought the volleyball during the Black Flag was that worked really well.
Jen didn't even know we did it.
Really?
Oh, Jen,
How many
Jen
times
was
did we bang the volleyball off the windshield of the car?
Jen was
Well-
not a happy camper at that moment.
She was for a while. And then, when you take it too far and we started taking it way too far, then she got tired of us.
She was more upset about the fact that she felt there was no way she was speeding in the pits and the fact that they were yelling at her for that was not her fault. And I don't know whether that is or isn't, but I believe her that somehow that was a perception
But
issue.
things happen. That's the way it works.
I've been told I do stuff on the track and it's like, that wasn't me.
You just take it. You just literally walk in and go, okay, whatever.
Yep.
You can't let it bother you.
No, I agree with you.
I will say that I could tell that she was getting a little upset, so I decided that I was going to start hitting the volleyball into the other judges, and I thought that was a great addition.
Which is
'Cause
fine.
They were like over talking to another car, and then like the volleyball would hit their head.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, they were playing too, so that was it's a good way to get everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was everybody's contribution to the
do we-
team?
I was going to say, do we want to overview what we did
Yeah.
for the theme? Okay.
We should.
Eric, you're the theme master, so you start us up. Give us the overview, give us the grand theories, and then we'll add.
So as I saw it, over the top was take the elements of Top Gun, act serious, but be silly.
Mhm.
Right. We did for our entry we got the smoke machine out. We brought the thing in. We had the music playing. We acted like we did the V formation slow walk in. We did all the elements that we could think of Top Gun, yelling at each other.
We sang.
The net.
We sang later.
okay.
I'm sorry. I was going to
you're
do it in order.
Got it. You're doing it in order.
Yeah. We also did elements where we did flybys, where we asked the pattern is full, Ghost Rider, the pattern is full, and the car went through anyway, and then somebody spilled something on themselves and yelled at people.
Mhm.
Whenever someone came
God
in
damn
for
it,
Black
Maverick!
Exactly.
Exactly.
Whenever people came in for a Black Flag, I viciously yelled at them. Just for a little bit, just enough to get this Jim unfortunately knows this.
I was good with that.
Yeah.
It worked. One, it worked for the theme, and two, I made a small mistake.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I told you ahead of time, I'm going to yell at you guys if you come in, not because I'm yelling at you, but because it's for the theme.
Mhm.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
about you. It's about the theme.
Yes.
And then we did, at the potluck, we did the, You've Lost That Love and Feeling sing along.
I believe that the titles have been changed to You Lost the Tune sing along.
Yes. So let me be clear. I don't want to, most of you, I'm not going to invite you to sing along.
Mm.
But
That's a good plan.
for Lemonsies and for theming, love it. You guys are fantastic.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Loved it.
I have to say that I have been lost and deep in work for the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I missed
year.
all the meetings. I missed all the notes.
Mhm.
And I got there and they were like, Jeff, it's time to sing. And I went, we're singing?
We're
and
singing.
then I was like, As soon as I heard it was You Lost, I Love Feel, I started singing, but my tempo was way faster than everybody else's, and I could not slow down enough.
It was exactly good, Jeff. No matter how you did it, it was good.
Yes.
So
Indeed.
it was all good. We did that, and then
In context, Eric, I think the bad singing made it better.
absolutely,
For sure.
absolutely, it was perfect the way it was,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that was beautiful. Loved it. And then, of course, the big one was on Saturday after the car died, which I'm
Sunday.
Sunday. I'm bearing the lead a little bit there. The car died, and we'd had a full military funeral, including the sheet, the presentation of the colors, the taps,
The horrible
and the
folding.
walk off,
A horrible
the
folding.
horrible folding of the colors, and the
Well, it was a
presentation to the
t-shirt
widow.
instead of a flag.
That's fine.
It was a good Garage Heroes t-shirt. Oh,
That's
so
fine.
good.
It was presented.
Yeah.
Oh, during tech, Judge Tim said, don't forget that you did the classroom. We had a classroom set
Sure,
through
yeah.
the drivers meeting on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Yeah.
And don't forget the flyby with Jen on the top of the car.
With Jen on the top, yeah.
Jen suggestively posed
with a banana.
with yeah, there were a few elements that I wanted to do that were on my list, but we didn't do because it didn't work out. And that's perfectly fine too. That's lemons. You gotta have a whole list and pick from them.
And you just have to know that not everything is going to wait.
Yeah. And one of the problems with Pittsburgh is the room for the tech is very small. Right. They shove 2 cars and there's not a lot of room. Like Jersey is huge and you have a lot of space to really work your shtick. But in Pittsburgh, it's too small to really do it. I have to remember that because I've forgotten how small it was.
Yeah. Plus there was these 2 old guys in the corner all the time, just taking up space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wind was so
The wind
brisk
is
that it
brutal.
would blowing away all the
Always is.
smoke.
It would.
Yeah.
Would quite well.
That was a great smoke machine, Bill.
Well,
Yes, that is a fantastic smoke. If you want to
Yeah.
sell that smoke machine, I'll buy it from you.
We were up on the hill in the garage, and we could see like billows of smoke coming out of the tank. It's pretty funny.
the first time we turned it on, it kind of didn't do anything for a few seconds, and then it just belched out this like London fog, 1966 Batman fog level, and I was like, oh, I think we might have overdone this.
The whole upper garage was at a level of a rave, right? We needed the lasers and the music then.
Yeah, I thought we were doing a Cheech and Chong theme instead of a Top Gun theme, but
That's tomorrow.
it's next race. We'll get there.
Yep. So that was the big items for me. I mean, there were subtleties, and I really appreciate it. You and your beautiful t-shirt that showed
The
off
muscle
your
t-shirts.
ripped- Yeah, we had one with the Borat style, and then another one with the muscle, and then one with the bikini. So it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful job,
I,
everybody.
I was going for the goose look. So it was aviators, Hawaiian shirt open to the waist.
Yep.
And then muscly, hairy shirt in the front. And people kept coming up to me and saying, I like your shirt. And I go, what shirt?
Exactly. Yes, you were the man of 2 aviators sometimes too. as
Sometimes, yeah. I really discovered that at the end. I put one pair of aviators over the other, and then I would rip the first aviators off and say, God damn it, or whatever his name was.
Maverick or whatever.
Maverick.
God damn it, Maverick. And I would pull one off, and then the other one would be there, and that would be funny.
It was hilarious.
Well, I
Excellent.
totally stole that from Airplane, by the way.
Airplane.
That's where they did it
Yep.
originally.
Yeah, it's
Indeed.
also in what's the spoof of Top Gun? The Hot Shots. Hot
Hot
Shots, they do that
Shots.
too.
Charlie
Hot Shots.
Sheen.
Don't sleep on Hot Shots. That is a great film, by the way.
I didn't say anything bad about it. I loved it. It's hilarious.
Indeed.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's absolutely ridiculous, but it's supposed to be. So
Succeeds.
let's pretend we went to a race because we haven't said one thing about the car.
What car?
That's right. It was a
It
plane.
was an F-14.
It was an
Exactly.
F-14. It
F-14.
identifies as an F-14.
Exactly.
So Jim, you got to drive it twice.
Yes, I did.
It's not quite the case swap that you guys are used to.
No, and then running on like a cylinder and a half
No.
didn't help.
Did not help. No.
There was 1 and 2 halves.
Okay. One really strong one.
one good one and then two half good ones, and
then
one that was like on vacation.
Yeah, I knew there was something going on because when we were doing the car check overnight Saturday night, I'm looking at it, and you know how Vicky has everything labeled. Well, she labeled the 4 different tubes coming out of the engine as manifold, and 3 of them had no writing, and one of them you could still see everything like it was just printed with a Sharpie.
Oh, well, that would be a good indication.
And I'm
that
sitting
you
there
have
going,
no fire in that cylinder.
that's probably not good, but I'm not saying nothing. So,
Yeah, so the car was down on power
a little bit.
Just
a little bit, which was,
fine.
I mean, which was, you could deal with it, except for the hill after 5-6.
Mm-hmm.
Just fell on its face.
Yeah, it was awful.
Mhm.
The hill go after the S's though. You could just kind of throw the car into that hill at speed, and you were at the top before. And then,
as
like,
as long as you didn't hit the brakes.
yes, as long as you
You
didn't
were
hit the brakes too
fine.
much.
They just slow you down.
And then, running down the back straight, like I was passing cars at the top end. I mean, of course, you know,
It
probably
had
not-
all the brakes.
it did have a lot of good brakes.
A lot of
And then, of
brakes.
course, then you're out of the power band because it's the 1 and 2 half cylinders. So the climbing the hill after 5-6 was brutally painful.
Don't do it wrong.
It didn't matter.
Oh, it didn't matter. I wasn't out, so
It didn't
just-
matter. It didn't matter. It just wasn't enough grunt.
Mm.
And if you did, what was it, 17 or was it 18? I forget. The last one before the start finish straight.
17, 18.
17, 18. That was painful also, going, you know, the first half of that straight to about start finish.
It was hard, and I hate to say that I probably used a lot more tire than I probably should have been, especially given the way the tires were running, because you had to just not scrub any speed with the brakes.
Right.
So you had to really hit the turns a lot harder than you probably would have if you had power to exit the turn.
Well, Jeff, you were subject to a little bit of flat spottage on those
Yeah.
tires.
Yeah, what should we talk badly about the people who aren't on the podcast?
Yes.
As if there's a question.
Okay.
So
No, it just
so it was Brad's first ever race. And
Yeah.
he did an HPD with us back in November. And this was his first race. He flew out from Colorado. He'll be on the next part of this podcast.
has he done HPD in a non ABS car?
Apparently not.
Yeah, no, this is
No.
all part of the deal. It's not
No.
a big deal. Everybody has to learn.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So he hops out of the car after, and he's like, I think there's something with the tires. And I'm like, I think I know what it is. He's like, I think it's an alignment issue. And I'm like, no, we just aligned that car nearly perfectly right before this race. It is a hammer of the right foot on the brake issue. And then we saw it later that night. But how was it to drive, Jeff?
So I got in last. I was last for Saturday, and everybody who's getting out was like, "Oh, be careful, the tires are flat spotted." And I was like, "That's all right. The flat spot don't really bother me."
Yeah, he's
they
used to driving after me.
Yeah, they were totally gone. Like I was getting, like I said, I was leaning on the tires pretty heavy,
Mhm.
and they were doing what I expected. They were washing out. It was all understeer.
Mhm.
I wasn't getting any oversteer, which we'll talk about if we talk about my other shift that I did in the other car. And I was like, man, these tires, I'm overheating them. So but I'm overworking them. So I expected them to be overheated, but it was fine. Like I was like, whatever. I'm turning laps, baby.
Mhm.
Don't look back.
Nope.
Back.
So, can we share?
Oh, we shared those. They're what is referred to as egg-shaped hole to the cords.
To through both sets of cords.
Yes. Yes.
On the outer courts and on the inner courts. So that was on the inside of the tire or the outside?
Inside.
Inside. Yeah.
Inside tire. So it was
Both tires. Both front tires.
They were both front tires, yeah. And it's flat on. I'm pointing for those of you. It's flat on that side too.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
flat spot all the way across. But yeah, it was fine. I mean, if I had more power, it probably would have been a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. You would have been a little easier on the tires.
I freely admit that I was getting a little over 100 at the kink and probably like 103, 105 before I was hitting the brakes.
That's about
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seemed fine. I mean,
No,
I
that-
would have
that
liked more
car-
power, but
That car is not slow. That was a nice
No.
car. Enjoyable.
It's fairly easy and docile to handle. So
Mhm.
so
Yeah, it
Eric,
was all understeer, no oversteer, but that's all good.
you got to drive a little bit, and then you got to drive in the Mazda 3. You were the first of the doubles.
So I enjoyed your car, underpowered in a manner that meant that I could be on it all the time, more or less.
Mhm.
Right. And that's an enjoyable way to be, right? What's the old adage that fast in a slow car is more fun than slow in a fast car, right? So,
100% in this, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Because I've done some driver education in my tired 1.6 Miata, which now belongs to Jim's son, and I have pushed it over to my parents' house saying, do not let this car darken my driveway ever again.
The
And I
Miracle.
Miracle, yeah. And it was very similar in that you just had to not ever scrub speed.
Indeed.
but-
yep.
The Mazda 3 was a totally different world.
So Mazda 3 is an entirely different car. That car is freaking amazing. If you haven't driven that car, which you all should, that car is fast. It has brakes from God and stop. And it is very easy to do whatever you want on that car.
During your shift.
During my shift, because the tires were still okay. We were on our third race on those tires. So they were wearing out.
Oh, they were very worn out by the end of the day.
Oh yeah, they were gone. They were
So-
worse than your tires.
Yep.
So I was really glad to get in a car with power. And as I was driving it, I was treating it like your Honda, Bill. I was using all the tires and I was trying not to scrub any speed. And I was getting oversteer. Like
Mhm.
that thing was wagging the rear out. And I'm like, that front wheel drive car like this should not be. And I said, man, I'm just leaning on the tires too heavy. I got to stop it. So I kind of switched my driving method to be more throttle heavy and less brake and tire heavy. And then after the shift,
Yeah, you didn't flat spot him. You just took away the entire side.
the entire inside of the tire is just totally gone. And you know, in your car, I was doing, 103-ish
Mhm.
down the straight. I was a lot more in that Mazda. So
For sure. There's a lot more engine in there, even if our engine was running, there's a lot more
yeah.
engine.
Oh yeah,
So
no, that's 50% or more power in that,
Yeah.
or more. I don't know exactly where now we given it being lower with
Mhm.
our issue, 50% like more power stock.
So after I wag the tail out after 5, going up the hill is 5, right? 5,
6.
6.
Six.
So going up the hill in 6, I wagged the rear tire out and I went over the rumble strips. And the rumble strips over there are pretty heavy.
Mhm.
And it vibrated the tack right out of the holder. And then it's like hanging like this on the dashboard and it's wagging back and forth. And I'm like, so the tack fell out. And they said, well, we're not trying to win everything. Come on in. So I brought it on in and I said, these tires they're all kind like I got oversteer. And they're like, oh yeah, tires are gone, Jeff. You should be careful out there. So I went out and I pulled it back pretty
Yeah.
heavy. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
Nelly. So
Yeah, they were originally going to try for Class B win at 3 p.m. and then that all got ended after the accident on Saturday morning. But
Mhm.
even if
Glad
they
to see
didn't
the
have
car.
the accident, those tires didn't have it in it.
Well,
There
they
might have
coulda-
been
they-
another set. So
they would
I
have
don't know.
changed that night.
Yeah.
There's no point in changing that night if you're not going to win, right? You don't spend the money.
Don't
But
waste.
maybe
yeah,
there is
don't-
maybe there is a point, but it wasn't. It was a decision.
Yeah, yeah. So they had an extra set. They just
Oh,
chose
yeah.
not to run.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
screw
so
it, it's only Jeff.
Pretty
No,
much.
it was
Give him
everybody.
a-
It was all of us.
It's
In
true,
fact,
I'm
well,
joking.
well, look who finished the day off almost going through the tire altogether. It was Chris.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't nice to the tires either. So
No,
you guys,
I'm sure he wiped probably most of that out.
Yeah.
I'm sure. He
You-
went from the first band of the metal bands to the second band and went below that second band.
Exactly. So you guys have a lot more experience than we do, even though we're ratio wise we're catching up, but you guys have years of racing experience. So
You all probably have more laps at pit than we do.
we do. Yeah, I think we do. But so what can we improve for the next time? Besides having an engine that actually works.
Four cylinders that have compression. I think that.
You want
Did we talk
four?
about? Did we talk about what broke?
No, we didn't, because we're still speculating.
Okay. No, I mean like that. What happened? How we
Oh,
felt
no,
it.
we can do that.
Okay. So, Jim did the shift and got a little. Jim, explain it. Smoke. Tell us what
Yeah.
happened.
So Sunday morning shift, I was out there. You called me on the radio, said we're gonna lengthen the shifts out to 2 hours because we're coming from 5 to 4, which was great because I'm like, all right, more time for me. Of course, when you told me that I was going to be out there till noon instead of
I know
11,
I can't do math.
I was like, I don't know if there's enough gas in the car.
Yeah.
Because I was really pushing it just to try and keep up with people because it was down on power. So I was going through the gas pretty hard. I probably started wiping out the tires at that point. It was just, all of everybody, that's just the way it worked. But I was running really hard, going down the back straight, coming into 17. I'm on the brakes and I get a whiff of like burning gear oil smell, which is never good. And it's usually somebody
and
else's
smells
car.
like nothing else.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like antifreeze. It doesn't smell like motor oil.
This is like burning oil,
So
gear oil smell. And I quick glanced in the mirror as I'm going through the corner, and you could just see the smoke coming out from underneath the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to get on the radio real quick and tell everybody I'm coming in because pit entrance is right there.
Mhm.
And we've been down on power. It's not worth breaking the car over.
No.
Right.
Yep.
So I brought it in.
Yeah, I jumped under and checked it out, and we definitely were leaking from an axle seal. So, quick check with Chris, the Honda guru, about. So, are we going to blow this transmission? And he said, no, don't worry about it. Your transmission will be fine. Go ahead and send it out.
Yeah, I was also 15 minutes to the end of my shift.
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
yeah. We had already decided that we were shifting drivers. So, did you
Yes.
go back in on the way out, or was somebody else going back out? I
No,
don't
it
remember.
was not me. I was not.
I heard Brad was the one who went
Oh,
in.
Brad,
Brad.
you're right. We threw Brad in and we pushed him out, and like the car is hard to start, which it was hard to start in the morning,
And it stalled.
and it stalled. And Chris says, "This car ain't running right." And I looked at him and I said, "Chris, this is the way it's been running all weekend. Like, not everybody builds motors like you do." And he goes, "Well, I kind of built this one, and it ain't running right."
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Oh, push it in. Let's see what we can do." So we push it in, and he pulls the plug wire off of cylinder 4. No change whatsoever.
We
So
don't
then he
need,
pulls.
we don't need 4 cylinders. We just need
So
3.
then he pulled it off of cylinder. I'm trying to remember which one is 1 and which one is 4. He started on the farther outside, so I guess that would be 1. He pulled 1
Well,
off.
as you're
And
looking at the motor, far right would be 1.
Yeah, which
Yeah, he
one's
started with
closest to the
1.
timing belt? Yeah, timing belt. So he pulls 1. It doesn't change a lot, and he puts it back in. He pulls 2, and it definitely changes more, and he puts it back in. He pulls 3, totally like changes, makes a miss. He pulls 4, and the car runs absolutely the same. So he says, okay, we got to pull the plugs. So we pull it in, we pull the plugs, and the plugs don't look so bad. Definitely don't look like there's any plugs. So then he pulls the injectors, And if you pull the injector on a car, it really just stops running. And again, 1 and 4 injector make
No
no
change.
difference whatsoever.
We could have saved gas and just turned them off.
That's right.
There you
Well,
go.
we kind of did, right?
So as a precursor to the transmission fluid leakage, when I pushed the car Saturday morning, getting it ready to make sure people were ready, pulling out the debris from the partying of the night before, etc., and I saw a
Except for the
puddle.
chicken.
Except for the chicken. I saw a puddle of gear oil. So we got it up and I checked the look, and unfortunately the transmission fill plug was loose. No, the drain plug was loose. The drain plug was loose. So we tightened that up. I took a look around, see if what else was loose. Everything looked okay. But when you came in and said, that it was burning transmission oil, I was like, okay, something else we got to check, right? But I'm glad to hear that it was out of the axle seal, yeah.
Yeah, and if that had been all that there was, Brad would have gone out and done.
Yeah. We
done
were
his thing and-
planning to send it with a little drippy transmission.
It wasn't like
Lemons
a
has
river.
not seen worse.
It was just a drop every
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and probably a big blob all at once for that one,
Mhm.
or for that one corner,
Mhm.
because it'd probably been doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was decided that we were going to do a compression check. So Chris said, "Oh, let's do a compression check." I said, "Great. Do you got a compression tester?" He's like, "No." So I ran around the paddock real quick, which is my skill. Even better than a wrench and better than a driver, I am the scrounger of all scroungers. I found a compression tester like 10 whole feet away. I mean, it's amazing what people bring to the track when it's like a lemons race. So the guy literally said, "Oh, that's in the box of stuff that I hope I don't ever need, but if I leave it home, I'm totally going to need it." I said, 100%, right?
Absolutely.
Does anyone know the numbers? I have them right here.
I know two
Yes.
of them. I know two of them.
I remember at least two.
100,
100.
Two something.
No,
130,
130, correct.
40.
200,
200,
45.
45.
45, okay.
Correct. There it is, right there.
That's not a good
Straight from the
grouping
whiteboard.
in darts, right? That's not a good
No.
grouping.
No.
That'd be bad.
So Chris said, well, we need to figure out if it's a top of the motor problem or a bottom of the motor problem. For those of you who don't understand what this means, top of the motor is from kind of the head gasket up, and bottom of the motor is like the piston rings down, because those are the two things that create the squish of squish, bang, blow. So anyway, you throw a little oil in and it seals the piston rings. Well, that changed a whole lot because cylinder 4 went from 45 psi to 46.
Ooh, the monster.
So there's the wet compressions right there. 110, 46. We didn't bother with the other two because that's pretty much indication right there that there is nothing sealing in the top of the motor at all.
Mhm.
Pretty much everybody says it's a valve problem, probably not a head gasket problem, because head gaskets tend to pressurize the coolant system.
Yeah, I think this is a valve problem.
Yeah. So,
Everything it says valve to me.
Yeah.
So that preceded our funeral.
correct.
It was a sad moment, but with honor.
Absolutely.
I was out in the Mazda 3, so I missed the funeral, but I would have quite enjoyed it.
You would have
quite
loved
enjoyed
it?
The video, yeah.
You did see it though, yeah.
Yeah, well, technically, Goose doesn't attend the funnel, so it was.
Well,
good
he
that I
does.
wasn't there.
Well,
Well,
You're right. I would have had to sit in the car
True.
to be Goose.
Well,
So
just-
I had a good moment with the judges before the funeral. I went down there and I said, "Oh, Honda's broken," and they looked at me and they said, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Well, we were following Slider. We were his wingman, and then he peeled off, and we went through the jet wash.
Mhm.
We
That's what
punched
happened.
out, but cylinder 4 hit their head right on the canopy.
Right on the head.
Yeah.
Hate when that happens.
So sad. As I say, take me racing or lose me forever, Goose.
All right. So total self-serving before we get to the awards, which is the highlight of all of our post-race. What can we do better, guys? You guys have a lot more experience than we do. What are we missing?
I thought your comms were good. I thought your
Yeah.
pit was good. You know, prep on the car is always hard to say, right?
Yep.
You know, like I said, we missed the filler plug, right? That
Mhm.
would have been good. Do a once over nuts and bolts, pull everything, make sure everything's tight.
I think we would have caught it if it wasn't 40 degrees and raining sideways.
I totally agree with you. That's why I'm having a hard time coming up with what you're asking. So we're trying to go, what would I do? What would I do? What should I have done on Thursday night differently? Right. You know, that's it. I got nothing for you, man. You guys were a joy to be with. So thank you.
We're getting better, I guess.
Yeah.
No notes. No notes
no,
from Jeff.
No notes? Jim?
No notes.
No, I think Eric covered it. You know, if we'd found that leak, you know, in the axle seal,
We weren't going to do anything about it there anyway.
right? You know, and just had 4 cylinders. That would have been good.
Yeah, 4 cylinders with compression. That's the only thing I needed.
You know what we didn't have? We didn't say it was the gas cap.
We didn't say it was the gas cap.
Yep.
Well, next time we got something
Next
I'll
time.
say.
Cool box would have been nice for Sunday.
You think? Was it warm enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
I was getting a little sweaty.
You had a cool box. We just didn't use it, right?
We just didn't put it. We just didn't put it in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I definitely was at the end of the day on Sunday, and I sweat, but I don't know. 90-minute session. I don't really need a cool box for that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
maybe
the-
August. It would have been nice, but
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Yeah, let me just go back to that. I for the first time ever, I wasn't relying on the cool box to keep me from overheating, even
That's
in
awesome.
the temperature. So go team.
Go Eric.
Do you have a spot for drinks in the car?
We do not.
100%. There's the notes right there. I could.
That was the one thing I was missing.
Okay. All right. We'll
Yeah.
do that. We can do that.
I'm shaking my beverage near the
Yes.
microphone. I hope it's picking it
Yeah.
up.
You know,
It is.
place to keep my camo back so I can
Okay.
we can
do
hydrate
that.
during the double yellows that happen all the time,
We can do that.
especially first.
And maybe a
So-
champagne cooler, like on a Maybach.
Maybach, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
Do-
champagne
crystal?
cooler.
Crystal?
Well, you want the flutes have to be crystal. The
Okay.
cooler should be, cooler. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll do
Or
that.
maybe, like the Rolls Royce, build it into the back seat,
Mhm.
back of the
Yeah.
front, the back of the passenger seat.
Rolls Royce,
Preferably
Maybach. I don't think we
yeah,
got
yeah.
a difference.
preferably piezoelectric, so that way we don't have to have any water sloshing around.
Oh,
Okay.
well said.
We can do that. We can have it. Articulated. Well, it'll be fine.
Somebody out there is like saying Jeff doesn't know what the f he's talking about. And
Well, he doesn't know how to say the word, but that's
I know,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
How do you say the word, Mr.
You could do,
Piezoelectric.
yeah, you could do solid state coolant. You're just never going to get to the numbers you want. It can't get cold enough, but it's okay. It's okay, Jeff. You have a good point.
But I think the theme prep was good.
Mhm.
Theme is great.
Yeah.
I had a great time on the theme.
We the people keeping score at home, the gas cap reference was related to the last time that Jeff and Jim drove with us at New Hampshire, and we were spilling gas and retired the car after 9 laps because we thought it was the gas cap.
We didn't retire the car. We got thrown out.
Yes, that too. Well,
We
You say
retired
potato,
the car.
I say potato.
We got our
Very well.
asses thrown out of a race.
yes, we
In
did.
the only race I've ever been thrown out of.
So what's the word? It's never the gas cap,
Never the gas cap.
but yet we thought it was. But that's okay.
No, because the gas cap was the only thing we could fix at that point.
I think we were
Yeah.
one blue glove away from being able to race the entire weekend.
No, we were not.
No,
That's fine.
that's okay. We put a fuel cell in the car after that. It's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, have been waiting patiently for the awards for this wonderful race. We'll start with the attendees who aren't here.
All right.
Miss Vicky, if you've been paying attention to the Instagram, obviously she gets the Dancing Queen award of the weekend.
Nice.
because it just had to be.
Yep.
We're probably going to have to follow this one up with a little explanation. Miss Jen, she broke the hard deck several times this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put that in place for her safety.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to explain that one?
So I'll explain what a hard deck is. In military maneuvers and or exercises, they define a altitude in which you determine it to be what we would call actual ground, so that you don't actually get anywhere close to the ground, and you determine that is the level. So you're not allowed to go below the hard deck. Otherwise, you're officially underground. And the hard deck was used multiple times in the referencing of Top Gun, and almost overused.
They chased Slider under the hard deck.
Under the hard
Viper.
deck. He was able to take the shot.
Viper.
Right.
Viper, thank you.
Under the shot. He was able to take the shot.
Yes. And he thought it was safe. So there was no issue. So he took the shot. Yes.
Yeah.
Miss Jennifer had a problem with falling down this weekend. So that's why we say she broke the hard deck.
Yeah, poor thing. She hit her head and her shin.
Yep. Head twice, actually. She
thing.
bonked her melon a couple times. Miss
Melon
Audra
bonkers.
is now we want to announce that she is the owner of Audra's Lawn Service. And she services.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
She services the Pittsburgh area, specifically Wampum, somewhere around turn 16. So
16, really?
Yeah, not a good place to service the lawn there, by the way.
No, because that's very fast.
Mm-hmm. And there's usually somebody stupid behind you that's going to come right behind you. So don't do that.
And seeing as the grass was wet all day, there's a long way to go.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
long slide.
Yeah. You're not stopping that.
16 is also the kink on the straight. So
Yes.
it's the fastest section, the fastest turn in the track.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Don't
Mr.
lift.
Max.
Don't lift at the kink.
Don't lift at the kink. Mr. Max, he won the amateur electrician in training for having his extension cord catch fire in his trailer.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
melted.
horrible.
It
When did that
absolutely
happen?
melted, yeah.
It
It was Saturday.
Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they thanked me for asking for some tape because that was the only reason they knew that it was happening, or else it would have been just going for a while. So that was good. They had a guest on their team. His name was Ryan. I believe we're going to give him the cutest family visitors ever award because the little girls were oh so precious. Let's see who else. You're here. So the other Bill, we have two possible awards for him. You're going to have to vote because I couldn't decide. There is the one that's not a speed bump, as he almost drove into a fallen tree on the way in, or since he makes pancakes, and if you've ever been down to Ocean City, New Jersey, he could be Uncle Bill's Pancake House. So your choice. Any preferences?
That's not a speed bump.
Not a speed bump. All right, very well.
My joke. I like that one.
Larry.
Although I am partial to Uncle Bill's Pancake House.
Yeah.
Uncle Bill's Pancake House isn't bad.
Those of us who've eaten there, we are down for that.
I think there's at least 3 of us who've eaten there. So, let's see what else. Larry, chewed and crude professional, because that's what he did all weekend, and in addition to doing some wonderful pictures and photography, which we shared. Let's see who else. Jeremy, part-timer, doesn't care about lemons, never showed up. What a sucker. Had to pick on Jeremy for doing that.
The Kelly McGillis Part 2 award will make that.
Yes, we could. There
you go. For those of you who haven't seen Maverick, what's the second movie called?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick. Kelly McGillis decided not to show up because she didn't think she could play the part anymore.
I believe she was decided not to show up.
I thought she said she chose to decline the
Of course she would say that.
I believe she was chosen. So, but that's fine. Blake, I believe this was his first time coming to a Lemons event, first time being at a Lemons event. I'm not sure he heard about it ever before, so we're going to give him the trial by fire. I was trying to think of something to compliment him on his shirt, but I can't think of anything that keeps us family friendly, so we're going with trial by fire.
Yep. That's good. Blake was great. He dug right in.
Yes.
And I said specifically about, criticism during the funeral. I didn't believe his tears.
Hmm.
And he's more of an ugly crier, so we need a beautiful crier next time for that role.
We do.
I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, and seriously, those tears need to be really from a place somewhere of deep sadness, not what I saw.
Yep. There's two videos of the funeral that I saw, and if you look in the background, we are absolutely breaking two different Lemons judges there. So job well done.
And all of us in the funeral
Hmm.
were on the verge of breaking ourselves.
That's fine.
Oh,
It was like Saturday
hilarious.
Night Live when I finally got to see it. It was awesome. Brad, the baby bird, he gets the tire tester award. Obvious reasons.
100%.
Obvious reasons. All right, so this leaves us to the people who are here. Let's see. Jeff, you get the Double Glasses Masterpiece Award. Fantastically done.
Nice. I like it.
If I'd arrived earlier, I actually planned on wearing the aviators during the podcast, but
It's fine.
they're outside in the car still.
The words Jeff arriving early have never been uttered in that order before, so we understand. It's fine.
Well, usually there's an isn't.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's true.
Yeah, there's usually
They're
a word
just
in
not
between.
they're not next to each other.
Yes, not in the same.
I
Yeah.
tell my coworkers all the time, I will be here exactly when you tell me to be here, as long as you tell me 7 minutes
Mhm.
before you actually want me to be here.
Nice.
You are what we refer to as hopelessly trapped on the East Coast, but living Central Time. Let's see. Gail, I could tell you what your award is, but it's classified.
I have top secret. Clint.
Pentagon pays me a lot of money to know more than you.
Excellent. Excellent. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
was
appear-
gonna say, somewhere you have to control a contract of his.
Mhm. It doesn't appear so in this case. But anyway.
You don't buy enough lubricants and
Adhesives.
adhesives.
Mhm. Absolutely. Oh, we got something cool I can talk to you about that we just came out with. It's fantastic.
Don't listen to this bitch.
It's awesome. We're gonna do it after.
Bill, you got anything glue a Boeing door closed?
Actually, it is for Boeing. It will solve one of their problems. Jim, it was great to have you back. You have officially claimed the title of the leadoff master.
Thank you.
No worries. No worries. Let's see. Where is Eric? Eric.
Did you write something? Are you actually reading notes?
Yes,
Or are you
I
just
have
pulling
notes.
this out of your ass.
No, I have notes. I have notes. Eric, you are our top colonel, even though we're in the Navy.
Thank you for that.
No
Thank you
worries.
for that.
All right, and
The people, so many people asked me last weekend, where were you in the military? What rank did you get to? I'm like,
it's on my hat, dummy.
yeah, no, and no 3-star would actually wear that off out in
No,
civilian.
no.
That's fine. And the ladies have 2 for me, and you guys are going to have to vote on this one as well.
Oh, I was going to bring it up. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, you
We'll
have a
listen to theirs
third? We
first.
have a third?
No, do theirs, and if I
Okay.
don't like it, I'll throw mine out there.
All right, very well. Option A, Ice Ice Baby.
Okay.
And option B, the guy who left the Vespa key where?
That's cute.
Oh, I didn't even realize that had happened.
That's
Oh yeah,
why
we were
nobody
supposed to do
drove the Vespa.
drive-bys on the Vespa, you know,
Yeah.
but that didn't work out.
We had the
I
Vespa.
did a couple drive-bys with the 3PM's little Honda scooter thing, but it was totally different vibe.
Mhm. It's okay.
Bill, can you be blamed for leaving the track with all of the gear at your first race or second race?
Second race, yes.
Second race.
Although I blamed Vicky, though, but that's okay.
That's fine. Whatever. You blame whoever you want to.
Mhm.
I was going to make an award
Oh,
about the Bill, the dedicated enough to get the haircut award,
Yeah.
yes.
because the haircut you were sporting was fantastic.
Oh,
Do you
beautiful.
want to try? Like, how did you get that? Did you go to the barber like with a picture
Yes.
of Val Kilmer
Yes.
and say, "This is what I need"?
Well, we went there 2 weeks early, and it was actually the person who cuts Vicky and Mia's hair. And they went and explained exactly what she wanted. She did research on what we needed. Then I went in there and I had my hair cut and then I had my hair dyed. And then she's trying to explain to me how to get my hair to stand up
Like,
straight.
how to-
And we cut it short enough where my hair just naturally stands up straight. So I had to do absolutely nothing except wash my hair and get it dry. And it just goes bing.
And it
And
just
then-
went right up like that.
And then the best part about it was I got the Wednesday before the race, I got notified I needed to be in Huntsville for a meeting with some of the military people. And it was Monday morning, bright and early. So there was no chance for me to get my hair cut before the meeting. So I had to go to a meeting just like that.
And did they even know that it was different?
Yeah, yeah. It was not close to my normal.
Okay, so they had met you enough
Oh,
that
yeah.
they were like, "What's with that haircut?"
Yeah. So it was funny because then they're like, "What are you talking about?" So I had to show them a picture, and the only picture I had was me standing next to Blake with the video. So I'm not sure
I'm going through the drive right now trying to find your haircut. I cannot find. I see lots of
I could show it.
pictures.
Hmm.
Oh, you
Go
got
through.
it. All right.
go
Hold on,
through.
let me pull them
It's
up.
on Instagram on the Garage Arrows and Trade.
No, I'm on the shared drive.
No.
Not on the-
It's in there. There's
None
the
of
video.
those.
It's a video. Is probably the best one, or the pose.
Oh, I got you. I got you right here.
I'm gonna share. Okay, you're doing it?
I-
Oh, I
Yeah.
was just gonna.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. So
Oh, there you go. That's the one we were looking for.
yeah, we may have to
That's
put
the
this one out
back.
on video just for that.
Just for that. Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
long it took me to work out to get up to that, but that's fine.
10, 15 minutes. I don't know.
Minutes. Yeah, minutes.
Yeah.
I think
You know
it
what?
was.
The best part about those t-shirts were the belly buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
that was way better than I thought it would be when I picked those up. Oh, that's
Yep.
cute.
The sad part is Vicky didn't let me take it off till this Thursday, but that's a different story.
That makes sense.
That's fantastic. A fantastic was had by all. Let's be honest.
It was quite the day.
2 cylinders, a shift and a half down.
Mhm.
You know, who cares? We had a blast.
We did, and it was
Yeah,
great
thank
having
you.
you back, and great having Eric feel good.
Well, I really appreciate you guys are always fun to be with, even if we're not on the same team. So this was awesome. So thank you very much.
And it was great to meet Gail.
Yeah. Yeah. Great to meet Gail.
It was a lot of fun. It was great to be there. I had fun meeting all you guys and feeling so welcome and stuff. It was awesome.
And did you get like a little twitchy because you didn't have a job to do? Like you're usually pretty busy at a track day, right? A
Yeah,
race.
and I was trying to pay attention to what was going on and help out where I could. It was mostly with, food, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Worked out.
You're not usually near the dirt. You're usually a tower Desian, right? You kind of like hang
Yeah,
out in the
I'm
tower,
usually in
never-
timing and scoring. Yeah, so I'm used to being in the controlled environment. So
We were far from controlled environment.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no controlled environment.
Well, climate control, snacks, drinks.
Yeah, no, you get none of
Timing
that.
and scoring is like,
It's like having a desk job.
yes.
We
Well,
had
it is
snacks and
good stuff.
drinks, though. We did have snacks and drinks covered. We just didn't have the climate control nor anything else.
well, yeah, there was climate control. We just closed the garage door. It was
Yeah.
all right.
Perfect.
Pittsburgh is a really just windy, nasty track when it decides to be.
When it wants to
And
be.
In
I-
April.
When
In
it
April.
wants to be, yeah, in April. It's gorgeous in the summer. I love going there when we have the NASA weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been quite hot on some of them.
It has been quite hot, but
Yeah.
we solved that with nachos and barbecue, so that's fine.
100%.
Well, this was fun. Thank you very much, Bill.
No worries.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Bill.
guys. You're always welcome. And Gail, anytime, come by. We'd love to
Yeah.
have you. It was great
It's a
seeing
good
everyone.
weekend, Bill.
Yeah.
I really appreciated it.
No worries. I had to get you guys back to the track. It was awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Be well.
All good.
Bill, that's like the shortest podcast you've ever done.
Well, I can do them short. I just choose not to.
Yeah. This was fun. Thank you for putting it up, setting it
No,
up.
no worries. No worries. It'll be out Sunday.
All good.
So
I'll listen to it then. I still have to listen to the Lamino one, so I got to get to that.
Oh, there's a Lumino one. I haven't been.
That's
There
just
is.
recently.
yeah, that one came out Wednesday, I think.
Well, that's good. My son gave a request.
What's
I
up?
said I have to go in the office, Josh, and I'm doing a podcast with Mr. Bill. And he said, Is it about Marvel? And I said, no, it's about the racing. He said, ask him if he's doing a Deadpool 3.
Sure.
We want to do the podcast. I said,
Yeah.
don't worry, Josh. We will get called for the podcast.
Yes,
That's
don't-
awesome.
It's
Fear not.
race season.
We'll still do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing out right now that's worth doing is Invincible or the X-Men show. The X-Men show is fantastic, by the way.
I haven't seen X-Men 97 yet, so
It's
I'll
really
get to
good.
it. Yeah.
It's worth it.
I just don't have any time. I literally come home, eat, fall asleep on the couch, wake up 6 hours later, go back to work. So 3 more weeks, and then I'm a much freer man.
Yeah, you should be getting close to graduation, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for
Graduate
everything. I'm going to
the-
go eat dinner now. I appreciate it. You guys
It's
were,
9:30, Eric.
you got to do what you got to do, man. You
Honestly,
only-
this is when I would be having dinner if I didn't have dinner at work tonight, which is why I was here at 8:30. So
All right,
There's
thanks,
choices made,
everybody.
brothers. And
Get some-
Gail,
get
good to
some
see you,
rest.
Jim. Well, Jeff, Bill, thanks for everything as always.
No worries. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.